that direction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I think is a good thing for how Brady plays, which ultimately is a good thing for that football team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that in the early parts of the season, you're learning about your team and you're learning which players are best in certain situations. And with Tampa, they have been learning in the early parts of this season. They're 5-2. They're in a great spot. They're getting better offensively. And not only are they getting better offensively, they have a great defense. And in this game against Oakland, they had a little bit of give and take in this game, let up a little bit more yardage than I would have liked to see with a quarterback. Carr did a great job. Got to have a hat off to him. I think he played well. But the defense of Tampa is keeping them in this game. And when you pair that up with the offense, and that offense only getting better, this team is going to continue to grow and be better and put players in the right positions to make plays. So I look forward to Tampa being one of the best in the NFC and expect them to be better in 5 weeks than they are right now.
Let's talk the figurative elephant in the room, because we heard Tom Brady asked about Antonio Brown, and he deflected a little bit and made it about the current game. Antonio Brown's not eligible to join the team for a couple of weeks after week 8, so he should be eligible week 9 against the Saints. But we heard Bruce Arians more directly call it an insurance move. Tim, how would you describe the acquisition of Antonio Brown and his fit on this Bucs receiving corps?
Well, I don't think it's an insurance move. In terms of the fit, I think it depends on, how Antonio, kind of behaves with the football team. You said Tom deflected a little bit, Al. Come on, you're being way too nice. He was asked about Antonio Brown, and he listed anybody that is eligible to go for a pass, out for a pass on his football team in return. I think it's an interesting thing. It appears that Tom Brady basically campaigned, lobbied, whatever it would be, for the Bucs to sign Antonio Brown because of a past relationship, because of a past working relationship, whatever it may be. In so doing, you have to think about how that affects the guys on your football team, especially the good wide receivers on your football team. All we've talked about is how good Chris Godwin is, how good Mike Evans can be, with Brady. How about those tight ends? And oh, by the way, Scotty Miller and that chemistry building like we saw today with Tom Brady. Well, when that guy then is campaigning to sign another wide receiver, no matter how good you think Antonio Brown can be, yeah, people have feelings. Guys that play pro football look at it as, look, they're still looking for their opportunity. So I do think it does create a little bit of a unique dynamic, and I think Antonio's behavior is going to say a lot about how he fits in with everybody.
No, you're absolutely right, because not only the dynamic there between the rest of the other receivers and Tom Brady sort of trying to implore the team to bring him in, but Bruce Arians very publicly saying Antonio Brown is not a fit for this team on any level, and now having to backtrack a little bit. Rob, what would you say for a guy that's played one game in a year and hasn't played a full complement since 2018? What's a reasonable expectation for what we should be expecting from Antonio Brown?
Well, I think we've all seen the highlights of Tom and AB playing in one game together, and the back shoulder and a couple receptions that he had in that game. You would anticipate that they would be able to link up pretty quickly. And Tom, look, Tom's a powerful guy. He must have went right in that head coaching office and started to lobby for AB. And I just think that the more the merrier on offense. And Tom, at this point in his career, he wants a lot of really good football players on his offense, and to bring in a guy like AB at such a low cost, he just wants another target to throw the ball to, and he got one.
And in all fairness, they did also mention the fact that those fantastic receivers that Tim mentioned have all been hampered by injury as well this year. Let's go from a team with an embarrassment of riches to an embarrassment.
There's definitely, a hit that cause a disqualification all the time about playing for one another, protecting one another. Definitely it was probably not the response that you would expect.
You could hear it in Mike McCarthy's voice after the game. Fixing this team with an uncertain quarterback situation won't be easy. At FedEx Field, I'm Sal Paolantonio, ESPN.
Won't be easy to sort of aptly describe Dallas's entire their past 6 games, their longest such streak since 1961. Their point differential of a -67 is now the 4th worst in team history, and those other seasons on this graphic didn't exactly turn out well for them either as we bring in Nink and Tim back. And Tim, we heard McCarthy there talking a lot about like fundamentals breaking down and things like that. Are we just blaming what we saw today on fundamentals, or how would you describe it?
Well, I mean, I think part of fundamentals is knowing what you're supposed to do. You know, defense in many ways is alignment, get lined up correctly, know your assignment, and then give great effort. I mean, you have to at least line up and know what you're supposed to do. Here's an example here. They're playing man coverage up top with the corner, but everyone else, in terms of linebacker level players, are playing zone coverage and they're running a post wheel combination, which leaves Logan Thomas, the tight end, uncovered. I mean, somebody's wrong. Here they're running split zone where Jalen Smith is going, but it gives Antonio Gibson a walk-in touchdown. We saw Trayvon Diggs earlier. Here he is. It's quarters coverage. You have the deep quarter for all intents and purposes. You're staring into the backfield flat-footed and letting Terry McLaurin just run right by you. That's bad football. We saw it last week. In fact, I remember being on here week 1 with Rob talking about bad tackling and bad fundamentals on the defensive side of the ball for Dallas back then. So, look, there are things that have not been fixed. That is a problem. And now as this team, struggles and the record reflects it and the season gets long, then what type of effort are you getting? This, to me, is a really bad situation. And Al, if I can, I will say this about Mike McCarthy, his comments on Andy Dalton. I understand Andy Dalton hasn't been there long, but a hit like that put him out of the game, that required a disqualification, to not see Dallas Cowboys offensive linemen at least having some type of response to the player that knocked their quarterback out of the game, that is a really, really bad look for your football team.
Is that telling? I was going to ask you that, Tim. Obviously we're not advocating for violence here, but is that telling that they didn't even get in anyone's face after that vicious hit?
Yeah, again, now listen, Andy Dalton's a backup quarterback, hasn't been there really long. There just has to be some type of response. And look, if a defender, if a defensive back got cut down the field late and, and a safety saw it happen, he would go after the wide receiver, like just to protect his teammate a little bit. I'm not saying that guys should get fined and should do anything like that, but there should be some type of response to that, because it was clearly an illegal hit. It was clearly something that really is the league is trying to take out of the game. And so to have basically no response to it, I think is shocking. I think it's surprising to see that.
What about you, Nink? What was your reaction to seeing that lack of response from the Cowboys?
The hit in general is a disgusting hit. I played defense, and when a quarterback's running at you, he's going to slide. He's not a scrambling quarterback. He's not trying to extend for more yardage. He's going down. You just put your hands down, you touch him down, that's it. You don't launch with your shoulder, and soon it's pretty, that call or that play is uncalled for in today's game. We know the ramifications of those types of plays, so that needs to be completely eliminated. But back to the Cowboys, I think their season with the coaches before this game last week. Last time I checked, I haven't seen a coach throw a pass, catch a touchdown pass, to go out there and perform. You're getting paid to be a football player. You're not being paid to critique your coaching position to win or lose, but at the end of the day, the players have to perform. You have to go out there. You can't fumble the drop passes. You can't miss tackles. And if you do that, you're going to lose football games. So to move forward with the Dallas Cowboys, I think it's going to be very tough for Mike McCarthy to gain the respect of his team, because of the fact that really that team isn't a team. They're just a group. Anyway, we lost our starting quarterback. So you don't see a team out there. You see a bunch of guys running around not doing the right thing. So I don't see the Cowboys getting back to the winning column anytime soon.
And it looks like, for all intents and purposes, they've sort of punted on the season, which is a shame. In that division, they're still very much in the playoff hunt. I do want to get to